Under communications, anything from the public in attendance this evening? If not, we'll move on to new business. First, we need a motion to authorize the city administrator to sign a settlement with U.S. Bank, N.A., how do you actually say that? Aquin, okay, R.E. 111 First Avenue North, and authorize the mayor and the city clerk to sign all documents necessary to effectuate the terms of the settlement.
You can't blame me for the title on that. That's straight from Eric. I wrote it down exactly how he said it. This settlement will recoup some of the costs for the legal fees to enforce the property maintenance on this property. The legal work kept the garage from falling into limbo, title limbo, and forced the property to come into compliance with the property maintenance code. This property and the property across the street were subject to lawsuits stating that they were abandoned. However, the property owners finally stepped forward in both cases and addressed the issues that led to the assumption that they were abandoned. Where possible, the city attorney is pursuing legal fees in these actions to reduce the cost to the taxpayer of enforcing the code on dilapidated structures. Besides the legal fee portion, the settlement releases the property from any stake the city may have in it, and in turn, the property must be fixed up. I don't know if you're familiar with the area, but those two houses look significantly better than they did even 6 months ago. And so this, along with a few other properties that Eric's working on, it makes a big difference when you can bring those lowest properties in town up a little bit and get them into better shape.
Move to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Under resolutions, we need a motion to approve the following proposed resolution number 2015-102. A resolution appointing Bankers Trust Company of Des Moines, Iowa to serve as paying agent, note registrar, and transfer agent, approving the paying agent, note registrar, and transfer agent agreement, and authorizing the execution of the agreement.
Bankers Trust is our normal agent for our issuances. They handle the monetary transactions with the note holders for this specific issuance. Basically, just somebody to pass through the cash back and forth for the transaction.
So move.
Second.
Roll call vote?
Goodell.
Aye.
Slater.
Aye.
Scholl.
Aye.
Rusher.
Aye.
Davis.
Aye.
Next up, we need a motion that the form of tax exemption certificate be placed on file and approved.
This is for the
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
for the issuance. It's
Right.
just the certificate saying that it's a tax exempt
Second.
issuance.
Roll call vote?
Slater.
Aye.
Scholl.
Aye.
Rusher.
Aye.
Davis.
Aye.
Goodell.
Aye.
Next, we need a motion that the form of continuing disclosure certificate be placed on file and approved.
Continuing disclosure, if you remember, Scott Stevenson went through all of the requirements on that. That just makes sure that the note holders are aware of the state of the city finances, that if there's any change, rating change, or anything along those lines, that we make the holders aware of those situations, both good and bad.
So moved. Second.
Roll call vote?
Scholl.
Aye.
Rusher.
Aye.
Davis.
Aye.
Goodell.
Aye.
Slater.
Aye.
Next, we need a motion to approve the following proposed resolution number 2015-103. A resolution approving and authorizing a form of loan agreement and authorizing and providing for the issuance of $1,575,000 in general obligation capital loan notes, series 2015, and levying a tax to pay the notes.
This approves the agreement. Obviously, this is the funds that we've talked about for the last few weeks here. The refunding is the large portion of it, saves about $23,000, and then the new money goes towards Eagle Ridge Phase 2, which is the contract with Hearst & Sons.
Move to approve. Second.
Roll call vote?
Rusher.
Aye.
Davis.
Aye.
Goodell.
Aye.
Slater.
Aye.
Scholl.
Aye.
And, what's that?
Oh, sorry, I had the wrong resolution.
Okay. Next, we need a motion to approve the following proposed resolution number 2015-104. A resolution fixing the date for a public hearing on the proposal to enter in a purchase, sale, and development agreement with Birdie and Son Limited and providing for publication of notice thereof.
This sets the public hearing for the development agreement that will convey the undeveloped Christie Circle next to Eagle Ridge Drive. and requires certain actions from Birdie and Son. The agreement requires a minimum improvement, requires two new homes to be constructed in exchange for the land. The land will be sold at $20,000, with $15,000 of that payment being refunded once the development requirements are met. As part of this process, we do go out and we get a opinion from Realtor, and that Realtor is filed with this, saying that it does meet the standards of being a fair transaction for the city.
Kevin Scow documented.
Kevin Scow
Yeah,
did-
I
was
saw
the-
that. I saw that.
Move to approve.
Second.
Roll call vote?
Davis.
Aye.
Goodell.
Aye.
Slater.
Aye.
Scholl.
Aye.
Rusher.
Aye.
Next, we need a motion to approve the following proposed resolution number 2015-105. A resolution approving the minimum development requirements, competitive criteria, and procedures for disposition of certain property located within the urban renewal plan area. Number 2, determining that the proposal submitted by Birdie and Son Limited satisfies the offering requirements and declaring the intent of the city to enter in a purchase, sale, and development agreement by and between the city of Humboldt, Iowa and Birdie and Son Limited in the event that no competing proposals are submitted. And last, soliciting competing proposals.
This resolution states that the city is intending on disposing of the land through the development agreement. This announcement is to ensure that all bids are considered before the land is disposed of in this manner. This process is a bit different than the normal vacation and conveyance process because of the development agreement and the fact that the land resides in an urban renewal area. So we have to follow a different section of the state code when we dispose of the land. I guess I actually switched it. This is the portion that has the Realtor comment on it, stating that it's a fair process. The previous one just dealt specifically with the development agreement and the normal process that we go through for the development agreement.
Move to approve.
Second. Roll call vote?
Goodell.
Aye.
Slater.
Aye.
Scholl.
Aye.
Rusher.
Aye.
Davis.
Next up, we need a motion to approve the following proposed resolution number 2015-106. A resolution approving pay estimate number 9 with Blacktop Service Company of Humboldt, Iowa for the roadway system maintenance project in the amount of $136,757.68.
Blacktop has addressed the radii in the project that had not been seal coated. Additionally, the sidewalks and curbs are nearly complete, including the additional areas that were added to the project that were trouble spots outside of the original scope of work. The seeding and grading has been completed in many areas, but several spots will need to be winter seeded to start growing with the spring weather. We added quite a few sections just around town. When you get the curb guys in town with LSF, you want to pick up as many areas as you can, and they've been really good about, some areas in Taft Park, a few out in Riverview Heights, and a few other areas that just needed some attention to curbs that had excessive deterioration.
What percent of the work is done now?
We're, I don't know.
Nick's here.
He's laughing.
Oh, there you are. Would you sneak in?
I did. I was running late.
So what's the percentage? There you go.
98
So is that,
total. They're looking at being done, additionally this week, but it's probably gonna be next week now, because we did add a little bit of Taft Park for them on the sidewalks. But otherwise, Bruce Hill says what is expected to be done this week. There will be some punch list items through Blacktop and other subcontractors through the time for them to address, but otherwise, a large portion of the work is complete right now.
that spot that they dug up at Bicknell Park there, and then we
Oh.
seal coated or whatever, and then we never fixed that before it got seal coated, is
That is actually additional work. That was
is that ours, or was that from the gas company?
That was from the gas company when
Okay.
they had to dig it up, and so that is part of the patch list that the city has that Blacktop then comes back and takes care of. Chris has been working with Blacktop. They're supposed to be at the end of the week, this week, to address those areas like.
For patches?
For patches, like Fifth Street. There's that patch right in the middle.
Right
There's
next
one
to the
down
patch.
next to the new H&R Block building there. There's one, over next to Bicknell. There's some pretty big ones around town that we just need to get patched as quickly. It's a little bit later than what they normally come in. Evidently, they got tied up before they got back here, is what we heard from Blacktop.
Is this corner getting fixed over here then, Nick?
Sometime, yes.
Okay, all right, that's why I was just curious where we're at percentage-wise, so we didn't get,
Is the backseat diner on that
Yep.
anywhere? Okay.
Back
So
to
that,
you.
yeah,
Yeah, that was a water main.
water main issue. that-
No. And it was frustrating that it took a long time to get them back in here. Normally, they're in here a little
And
bit
that's
quicker.
supposed to be within the next week, this is
Yeah,
supposed to be happening?
they
Okay,
told me
Okay.
within the next week.
thank you.
I had a homeowner on the corner of Sixth Avenue South and Eighth Street South. The sidewalk ends at her property down there, Aaron. And while the north end of the sidewalk must have been Fifth Avenue South and Eighth Street, while that did have a handicapped accessible sidewalk there, hers is not, and she was just kind of wondering why we did Fifth Avenue South and we didn't do Sixth Avenue South. The sidewalk ends down there, Nick, so.
I have to look and see exactly at that one, Matt. What was the address again?
It's a
Oh,
cor-
wait. You said
Well-
Fifth Avenue South, but not Sixth Avenue?
Correct. Sixth Avenue South and Eighth Street.
Does it take off from, you're talking about two separate crossings? right?
Correct.
Oh, you just gotta stop and start somewhere. And so, I mean, if you're putting somebody into a street, you have to receive them on the opposite side.
And so
And-
that's probably why. The sidewalk ends at Sixth Avenue South, so
Yeah.
it doesn't extend any further there. So that's why, so we don't have to have a receiving handicapped accessible sidewalk there then? I mean, this is what the homeowner was asking.
It's one of those things where you have to make the determination. This happened in a few spots, and I know Nick and I went through on a few, and David and I went through on a few of these where if you've already got a sidewalk there, do you rip out the part that sends them into the street? Or do you redo that, or do you put the curb back normal? Because there's nothing that irritates a homeowner more than if it's a perfectly fine handicap ramp and you rip it out to turn it to grass and make the sidewalk end 2 feet before it hits the curb. And so some of those, I think you're trying to get the best bang for the buck by stretching as much as possible so that you can, if it's decent, leave it there, or if it's, if it's the start of a very used portion, keep it as a handicap ramp.
And
but
actually,
it's-
there's nowhere to go from that corner.
Yeah,
I mean,
There's no other sidewalk
Th-
south of
no,
there,
it isn't.
or east of there, or west of there.
yeah.
I know it, but
There's
that's what I was
nowhere to
just
go.
curious, because it's not accessible
Mm-hmm,
in,
yeah.
I mean, so,
Well, at the corner of Third Avenue North and Fourth Street, that's happened to be where my apartment's at. The handicap goes across the street, but the one that goes east has got dirt over it. Did they take that portion of the sidewalk out and they're not gonna,
Some of the ramps were eliminated if they were. if they
this
were
wasn't a
not-
ramp, but the ramp was installed to get to the next block, but then going east, it's gone and it's got dirt on top of it. Is that not going to be,
Yeah,
is the cement gone there?
yes.
Okay, so I can just reseed it, or are they gonna be reseeded?
They'll be receding.
Okay.
And so they're.
I just wondered, because I saw the dirt, I didn't know if they just
Mhm.
put the dirt there temporarily or what the situation.
I'm guessing, I mean, I'm not 100% sure, but if you see dirt that's smooth there, then
Yeah,
many of
it's
the
smooth.
ramps were removed
Okay.
because they were.
So the sidewalk is not there,
Yeah,
okay, fair enough.
just to try and, so
Right.
if we had, let's say you had, 8 crossings or whatever
Mhm.
at an intersection, you try and knock those down, do one crossing on this side, one crossing on this side,
Sure.
and not do the other one, so that you're not
Okay.
paying twice the amount.
Fair enough.
so the answer to that question is, I mean, it's not gonna be, because it doesn't go anywhere after,
No, I
Okay.
wouldn't think so.
okay,
Move to approve.
thank you. Second,
roll call vote?
Slater,
Aye.
Scholl,
aye,
Rusher,
Aye.
Davis,
Aye.
Goodell.
Aye.
Next, I need a motion to approve the following proposed resolution number 2015-107. A resolution approving pay estimate number 4 from Drummond Hicks LLC of Cherokee, Iowa, in the amount of $20,911.28 for the construction of a sludge holding tank cover at the wastewater treatment plant for the city of Humboldt.
I'll leave it to Nick. This is just the hatches being stored on site.
Yep,
Are they
right
installed
now.
yet?
Not as of the end of last week,
I didn't think they were, so.
not yet. So we're waiting, they just need to install the hatches and we're gonna do a final water on the project.
It's been one of those nice ones to get closed down.
You'll miss that one.
Yeah.
You'll miss
Hey.
the closeout one.
Yeah.
Bill will get a first closeout right off the bat. So that'll be
A few victories.
Exactly. Did we have a motion? to-
not yet.
So moved.
Second,
Roll call vote?
Scholl,
Aye.
Rusher,
Aye.
Davis,
Aye.
Goodell,
Aye.
Slater.
Aye.
Then we need a motion to approve the following proposed resolution number 2015-108. A resolution approving pay estimate number 2 from Wunsch Construction of Green, Iowa for the Fifth Avenue South Emergency Water Main Replacement Project in the amount of $63,484.96.
The main is in, the street has been finished. The project is also ready to be closed out. Unfortunately, another one I don't get to sign off on or be involved with, but pavement covers the street work portion of the project and seating, so.
Looks
Move to
great.
approve.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Rusher,
Aye.
Davis, Goodell,
Aye.
Slater,
Aye.
Scholl.
Aye.
I know while Wunsch was here, they did fix some fire hydrants or whatever and stuff.
Yep.
No, today I was going by, and I see the one there by the park, Bicknell Park, I see has got a cover
Yep.
over that one. Is that one that I assume did not work either, or did not shut off, or?
Yeah, we've got, there's probably about maybe 8 hydrants that have been identified as needing replacement. I believe I talked to you about it, Bill. And
Nick was there with us,
Yeah,
too.
and Nick was there, and so those are identified as needing replacement. So whenever we have, them coming back in, we did do one as an emergency replacement because it was actively leaking, and we could not control it. And so that one had to be replaced before winter caught up to us. But a lot of the other ones, they just, various reasons are failing. And the nice thing is, almost none of them have valves in front of them, so that means when they fail, you're really in a bad situation. So then it becomes an emergency replacement, so.
Motion approved.
I think
Got it.
we're-
We've already done.
I think we did.
Yep,
Walt
just
just had a
discussion
couple
afterwards. Yep,
additional
yep,
questions,
yep.
yeah.
All right, we need a motion to approve the following proposed resolution number 2015-109. A resolution approving contract change order number 1 with Pedersen Contractors Incorporated of Rhinebeck, Iowa, for a net decrease in the contract price of $473.82 for the 2012 Humboldt Business Park project.
This rectifies the quantities actually used from what was originally bid. The pond was finally fixed and is performing well. The retention pond will provide a buffer from hard rains, inundating the north part of DD 13 by storing water on the site rather than piping it directly into the district. It will provide more benefit as the land is developed and more paved areas exist, giving that more buffer. So, obviously, this has been a long time coming, but it's good to get it closed out and move on to the next phases of the project.
Move to approve.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Davis,
Aye.
Goodell,
Aye.
Slater,
Aye.
Scholl,
Aye.
Rusher.
Aye.
Next, we need a motion to approve the following proposed resolution number 2015-110. A resolution approving the engineer's notice of acceptability of work and approving pay estimate number 8 final to Pedersen Contractors Incorporated the amount of $56,112.59 to be paid 30 days from the date of acceptance for the 2012 Humboldt Business Park project.
This will simply close out the project because all the work has been completed and the pond has been fixed from its previous poor workmanship.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Goodell,
Aye.
Slater,
Aye.
Scholl,
Aye.
Rusher,
Aye.
Davis.
So it took 4 years basically for that.
Just for the base?
3.
Yeah, just.
Who's counting, right, Nick?
We were.
Anyway, we appreciate all the work that INS did on that stuff for us. I know that was.
Definitely had more than me, that's for
You know,
sure.
that was, very grateful for, we were getting nowhere, it seemed like, so we do appreciate that. We need a motion to approve the following proposed resolution number 2015-111. A resolution approving a request for extra services to WHKS and Company of Mason City, Iowa for additional engineering services for the proposed Sumner Avenue Bridge project.
The WHKS is here, so I don't know if they want to have them come update the council on, what's going on here.
Yeah, go ahead.
We basically are down to 3 punch list items that are remaining. 2 of them, the contractor has agreed to do without question. One is, there's supposed to be a driveway on the, what
East,
side?
east, southeast side.
The east side.
Yeah.
They need to cut the curb and put in a gravel driveway. The other is, there's one pier left to be stained. Keep getting told that they're coming next week for quite a few weeks now. And still waiting on that. But the big item that we're dealing with right now is, I'm sure everybody is aware of the dip in the deck on the, near the west side on the, that'd be the south side, I believe.
Yep.
And, I mean, we just went over it tonight, there's water standing there and stuff. I met with two people from Goverson there probably a month ago, and I mean, they acknowledged there's a problem, and what to do about it, there's difference of opinion there between them and us. They proposed that they grind the deck to get it to drain and smooth it out. And I'm a structural engineer, and you know, I'm pretty wary of grinding the deck at all, because you're taking away the protective surface, and it's just less cover down to the rebar. And I followed that up, talking to one of the main bridge engineers or materials engineers at the DOT, or maintenance anyway. And he said, definitely don't do that, and he agreed with our recommendation that we do an overlay. Basically remove a minimum of 1.5 inches off the deck from like high point to high point, because it's a dip. And filling that in with a dense grade overlay, we do these on bridges all the time. It extends the life. It's definitely the best, in our opinion, definitely the best method to fix this. And you'd get a minimum 1.5 inches covering that area, and then they'll do their best to try to groove it to blend in with the rest. Is it gonna look seamless? I hope so, but that's, you know, there could be a little bit of a, you know, there's probably gonna be a line around the perimeter, but I think it's the best bet. It's, from my standpoint, it's gonna be the best protection for everything, and least chance of maintenance problem long-term. Grinding it, I mean, that's definitely not gonna look very good. It's gonna reduce your cover and just increase the chance for corrosion later on, so. They've reluctantly agreed to look at our plan right now, and are supposed to get back to us. I mean, I think we kinda have them that they need to do something, and something acceptable, that we find acceptable, and we don't find grinding acceptable, so. We're still in that process. It's been going back and forth and back and forth, and we sent like a repair plan to them late last week, and I haven't been in the office all day. I'm hoping I get back and say, yeah, we'll do it or whatever, and then it'll be up to you guys or to Aaron or whoever to give the final approval, but that's where we're at right now, so.
So what you're asking for additional engineering services, you're asking for more money to do this then, or what is the additional engineering services? What is it we're actually talking about?
Yeah, I'm Scott Street with WHS. I'll try to go through this with you. This, originally when, we can go back, you know, we started, I was here in February, when we thought we were gonna be done in May. So basically, at that time, we did the amendment number 2, which was to get us through to May. As things went, we spent a lot of time, and we tried to spell it out in here, but basically, we spent a lot of time since May. I think we got the bridge finally opened about 1.5 months later, sometime towards the beginning of June, or beginning of July, to get that open. And then since then, we've been working with them, you know, trying to get the punch order, or the punch list items done, and just, you know, coming over here, they come over for a day and here and there, and knock some of those things out. You know, the lighting, you know, we came over for a day when the lights weren't working, we found the fuse was, or the breaker was shut off. So this is additional fees that we've incurred since what we thought we would incur in May. So this, and then to finish up the project, which right now, we've put March of 2016 in there because we may need them to come back in the spring and do some more seeding, if the seeding that they didn't catch. You know, it's just
And
what we
just
tried to
part of-
estimate.
And to finish out the IDOT audit, I mean, it's not working steady till March.
Yeah.
It's just, stuff goes back and forth with them, and realistically, that's when the audit will wrap up.
The audit is, they'll go through and check all our books that we did for observation, they'll go through, check all the materials that was in there, so. Just an estimate that we tried to come up with that, to try to finish this project up and go from there. But as a federally funded project, you know, we're required to always be here to safeguard, you know, your money and their money, so that's, they come over and work for an hour, you know, we have to come over and watch them. That's
If you come over and work for an hour, we probably get charged 4 hours. Travel and,
Yeah, by the time they leave Mason City and come here and then go back, and
it just seems to me like the punch list, you know, stuff that should have been done in March or April or even May, you know, the city's having to pay for as far as the engineering fees go.
right.
Because it wasn't done when it was supposed to be done.
And part of this too is when we get this done, we'll do a, you know, final or the semifinal pay voucher. Also, the city will have to decide how they want to handle liquidated damages. Right now, I think we're at 93 and a half days of liquidated damages that can be assessed against the contractor for liquidated damages are cost to the city, and basically the major cost to the city is having us come out there. So right now, you know, we're sitting at probably about $112,000 worth of liquidated damages if the city chooses to pick those. Right now, it's $1,200 a day, and we have 93 and a half days in there. So when we get all said and done, it's gonna be a decision of the council how you wanna address those liquidated damages. The problem with that is, you know, some days, you know, they only get charged for half a day, like you said, 4 hours, but we're here for 8. You get by the time you do driving and all that, you know, that's where some of the things are. And then some days, when they were not responding to us very well, we did start charging some additional days in September. We wrote them a letter and said, you know, you haven't been responsive. We worked this out with the DOT, you know, we were talking to the district folks to make sure we're following proper procedure. So we did charge them some, probably, I think about a week or maybe 2 weeks when they weren't out here working. We weren't out here either, but just to, you know, those liquidated damages to try to.
So when you say you charge them, that was us, them?
No,
or them?
Godberson Smith.
Okay,
We
okay.
charged working days to them because they weren't they weren't responsive.
But that's still us, so in reality.
No,
No, it's not. Okay, it's just
No,
to
that
them
would be-
against the time then.
Yeah, those working days,
Okay.
those working days, when those accumulate, then you can charge that.
Those against liquidated then, okay.
That, you use those as the basis for the liquidated damage.
Hopefully a carrot.
Where are we at as far as holding back with liquidated damages or having not paid?
You said,
We're-
what, 112 right now?
We're at 112, there's a retainage
112
in
days,
there, yeah.
$1,200 a day?
Yeah.
What's the retainage on the project?
The
Retainage
retainage is only
is
30.
30,000. Because that's the most
But
you
we
can
haven't-
do
we
for the
haven't paid
DOT.
that- you got
the-
liquidated
we haven't
damages
paid the
off
finals
that.
and stuff
Okay.
yet, so we still have,
Yeah.
how much do we have?
The retainage
That-
is
that's
only
what I- that- that-
30,000,
that's
but
really what
the
I
total
was-
amount not paid, what's left on the project, like 100 and,
120, probably, 120, 130. But some of that is items that will be done, probably as part of the punch list,
yeah.
that are part of the sub-consultant, and that's where you also run into trouble is, if we're not paying them for the sub-consultant work that is completed, then we get in trouble with the DOT. So, but right now, I know, I'd say we probably have if you count retainage in there, we're probably close to 140 to 150 that hasn't been paid. So we basically held back a chunk, basically the biggest chunk we held back was the structural concrete. And the rationale that we've used for that so far is that the deck is not acceptable. And so, those are how we try to justify those.
I got a question, when you grind it, you know, and you're trying to re-pour an uneven to try to make that grade acceptable, what guarantee do we have that surface will continue to stay bonded? You know, when you have, you know, two different pours, quite often it likes to separate.
This, and I'll speak, 'cause we probably do for the DOT, we probably do 30 overlay projects a year. So it's pretty